Welcome back to the Face It Global Summit, and I've invaded the NC Sports pod because I have to talk to Squeaky and Mikaz after that match. They came fourth, just as a reminder, and it was very intense in those final moments. Squeaky, how are you guys handling the pressure? Because it is elimination day, it's sudden death.
Yeah, it's we don't feel like that much pressure, but of course you have the pressure, but you don't want to feel it. So it's intense. You don't want to do any mistakes in these 6 games. So yeah.
You're one of the only players I've seen who seems to find it funny when they die.
I don't know. Like sometimes you die funnily and you do stupid stuff, but it's all about the game. You have to have a funny attitude and like a happy attitude. You can't play like an angry face on.
I've never heard a Finnish person say that before. Are you sure? Are you sure you're from Finland?
Yes, definitely.
Now, you got yourself into an advantageous position. Very, I sound Finnish now, advantageous. You were on the high ground, you managed to get that pick on AHQ. How did you find rotating in this match?
Mikas was coding on the middle, so we kind of knew that the big hill was free because no one was shooting at there. So that was like our backup plan if the zone goes to northwest. So we just like trust Mika's call that it's free, so we just pump in the middle because most likely it's going to be free, and you can see like lots of stuff on the top, so it's good.
And talking of trusting Mikaz, we've given the man his own microphone. I'm going to get him to use it now, because Mikaz, I need to talk to you about that double knock on 17 gaming in those last moments. How did you do it, and why didn't you finish them off?
Well, I couldn't finish them off, first of all. I finished one, but I had to overpick a little bit, so the third guy got me, so it's just me and Squeaky Joe there with the bike, and the other 2 didn't have a vehicle, so it was just 2 of us, basically.
And then they knocked you out.
Yeah, they did.
Why couldn't you stop them?
I mean, it was 4 versus 2.
Yeah, but we've
Stuff
seen those
happens.
situations being turned around. You just need a motorbike, ask FaZe Clan. Now, you guys are 4th on the overall leaderboard. You need to be in the top 8 to go through to the weekend's grand final. Do you think you can go a few places further and get yourself a chicken dinner in the next round? Or are you more of Erangel boys?
Like, of course we want to take like chicken dinner, definitely, because it's a huge motivation boost. But like in the end, it only matters. It doesn't matter are you first or 8. So it only matters that you're top 8.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. Good luck. You've got 5 more rounds to do it, and you're looking pretty good at the moment. But for now, let's head back to some very good-looking boys indeed on the desk.
Absolutely not me, Frankie. But beyond all of that, of course, I do have 2 charming gents, as I say, in Toffees and Avenger. And I really enjoyed Mikas's math. It was 4 versus 2. So easy math for Ents. Good stuff there. So overall, though, it's nice to see them kind of back on kind of top 5-esque area. And if they continue that, they probably will qualify for the grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah, I think a little bit there that you heard slightly from Squeaky is that he said, we trusted Mikaz's calls. And that's when I talk to them, one of the things that comes out the most often is we have 100% faith in his calls. Yeah. When he says to do something, we're in line. Yeah. We agree with it. To have an IGL that you believe that firmly in is a huge boon to performance. And on top of that, they're communicating in their native languages. We don't always talk about that. We have a lot of regions here, but a lot of us, PKL, NPL, we're used to everybody sort of being native speakers on our team. You guys don't have that in the PEL. A big discussion when you build a team is native speakers, different languages. I mean, I remember when it was Vitality put together their new roster, and they were struggling, and I talked to them, they're like, well, 2 of our players are learning English right now so that we can actually play. So that is something that comes into play in places like the PEL that we don't often get to talk about.
That's also, very beautiful to see Vitality of one of them be able to kind of transition that fast. But I definitely think they moved some time ago, they were OIN, and now they are Ents, and now they're full Finnish. Before, they were actually also speaking English, and I think definitely this is an advantage. And also being able to kind of just pick the best players, you feel like it's going to be kind of the best setup you can do is a huge advantage. But what I really love from this is Mikas being able to, in-game lead, we don't talk about it too much, but also being able to frag out. That 1v2 versus 17 gaming is like, it's huge. They are amazing players as well. But him being able to, of course, they kind of lined up, but him being able to transfer and take 2 of them just talks to how an amazing in-game leader he is, and also how his fracking capabilities are.
And let's see how those numbers have stacked up for Ents, as well as the entirety of our global leaderboard here, as we do have, hey, that looks like 2 extra padlocks there. Oh no, it's not actually extra padlocks. It's just that 17 and Envy have done so well, they've already moved above some of the people with the padlocks. So they're not definitely locked in just yet. You tricked me. I was duped. I was bamboozled. But there you go. So you can see that 17 and Envy FGC have accrued so many points that they have currently pushed past some of the people with those padlocks. So they're in a great spot to try and get their own padlocks eventually at the end of the day.
I mean, it's a little deceiving because, of course, they have an extra game, so you're going to see them climb up there.
Yeah.
But it's going to be encouraging. It's going to help their sort of mental state to do that. But for me, it's the fact that Aerowolf won, that's a team who, when I talked to their coach, they didn't expect anything from these guys. They said, our goal is to make it to the grand finals.
Yes.
And they're coming in and doing incredibly well, 72 points. They're there.
What is going to be very interesting to see is 17 Gaming going to be able to catch NIP in 18 games, what they were able to do in 12. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
because their 2 days was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, very, very fiery there by NIP. Now, do bear in mind, guys, the cutoff point you need to be looking at is where that 16th place lies. Everybody below that 16th spot will be going home at the end of the day. And they do not have much time to be able to make up the difference. There's only 5 more games left to try and get yourself into that grand final. Kind of thoughts here before we go into our next map on Miramar?
I think the gauntlet has been thrown down. We said the top teams are going to start to run away a little bit, and it happened more than just a little bit. They've put down some big numbers. Some of the teams who weren't top teams, like Aerowolf, have said, we're going to keep pace with you.
Yeah.
So the teams like Bluebees need to step up now. And I will say, they had some great moments of brilliance in that last match. They just need to execute.
On top of that, I definitely think we're going to see some very interesting hot drops here as well. I think in this game, I think we're going to see 2 teams dropping on each other, maybe. But let's see. It's going to be very interesting.
All right, let's get into it then. It's going to be game number 2 here of the Eliminations Day for the Face It Global Summit as the crowd is ready to go here with our commentators. Rich, Lauren, take it away for all the action.
Thank you. We are so excited for this. If that first game was anything to go by, we are in for some incredible matches today. And we've got 2 more on Miramar. And honestly, I'm so excited for them now.
What a fiery way to start things off, and especially for Envy. We had a little chat about it, how they were biding their time. They were waiting for the perfect time to strike. And they did it with perfection. I think at one point they were basically dealing with 3 teams from 3 different angles, which is insane to see when you can keep control of that and actually deal with them. Can they do it in game 2? Well, 3 seconds time, we'll be finding out.
We certainly will. The crowd seems certainly ready for this. And I love that. Good job, crowd. This afternoon, you know, they're warming up. I like it a whole lot.
I like the fact that it's an elimination day as well. We're not even at grand finals yet. We've still got people in the audience.
You're doing all right, guys. You're doing pretty good. So south to north is a plane route. For me, the teams I'm going to start really focusing towards are kind of the bottom 3, and then I guess the 2 who could potentially move up, which is Bluebees and the Rangers. Now, the Rangers have a great and interesting storyline that I think a lot of people are surprised to see them outside of that top 8 currently.
Yeah, I think when you look at the points, they're only a few behind. They can still very easily jump into this. And you know what? I think that's the story of this lobby, to be honest. Even OMG, I'm sorry, I know we keep alluding to them, but with the current reigning world champions, you'd expect them to already be qualified. They came into this with quite a target painted on the back as being, you know, your number 1 team in their specific region. However, one good game won't set them flying up that leaderboard. There is a possibility. I mean, it would have to be a monumentally huge game. It would be a 20+. That would be a win and a fair amount of kills in the bag as well. But they could sneak into the top 8. And I think the teams that you're looking as a safety net at the moment, you'd have to go with your top 3. You're looking at 17 Gaming, Envy, Aerowolf 1. But even still, it's pretty tough at the top. The crossover at the moment is 59 points. That's for Incognito. Next above them is Entus with 69.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very close by at the moment, and we've said the teams that you need to keep your eyes on. The last cut-off team currently is Incognito. They are holding on with 59 points. Just below them is the Rangers with 56. So things could still change, and Erangel coming up not too far from now is always another potential moment for these teams to pick up points or maybe stabilize themselves and feel more confident and comfortable on those maps. Now, keep in mind, there's this rumored theory that I know we've talked about off air about we want to play the elims, go all the way through, because then we don't have a break. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's a bigger story to tell, and you've obviously played professionally back in the day. You'll be able to kind of allude to this from a player's POV. There's going to be for teams that they get 2 days off now. But could that be detrimental, essentially, to their performance going into this? Because a few of them, we'll hold on this one for a second.
Yeah, we will. It's Aerowolf 7 about to work their way forward. They know that someone else is here. It's the Brazilian side who are kind of peeling away from this. They're not really sticking around too close by. They've fallen off and maybe watching the exits. And let's see if they're going to spawn way out. Avo's got to be careful, overstepping. They could have set up a little bit of a wall of fire there, but they let them get away with it really quickly. We're going to dive in with the reporters. I heard they've got something to have a little chat about. Guys, what have you found?
Yeah, it really leads on to what we're seeing on the screen right now. There's about 4 teams that are massively split and separated all around this central area. You've got the Brazilian Crusaders there, Wolf 7 in there, Entus and MP5 are kind of having this split. At no point is there any positions where they can back each other up.
Yeah, and I personally don't like that because you get isolated. Like Rogi here fighting against Aero Wolf, he's kind of alone. Rusty Zero is further behind, but like in Miramar, you can loot split up, but I feel like if there's so many teams around you, you need to be grouped. If not, with this point system, teams are going to group up and fight against.
Yeah, and of course, this circle obviously alludes to the fact, it's a massive first circle, but where would you be looking at as if Reciprocity were here right now?
I mean, we like to loop Ricardo, but obviously this is a center for Brazilian Crusaders, and all these teams that are fighting here, all these teams that are split up, I would like to see them group up already, because if they lose to certain players when they have the circle, it's going to hurt them later on.
Well, guys, the shots keep going. Nobody landed anything yet, though. Back to you.
Yeah, I like the fact that they touched on this. I mean, it's okay when we look towards there's leagues and there's friendly rules in play. This is my loot location. You don't loot here. We like to play late game. They're all sitting happy and comfortably. But with this one, yes, that is a super, super, super condensed circle. There is many teams all kicking it around, and they're so sparsely spread, which is the more worrying point. And if anyone wants to try and run this main road that just goes from Pozo all the way down through Leones, it's basically a gauntlet. And all right, if they don't damage you, the later game is the vehicles. Okay, getting out of one gunfight, but if you rock up to another one with a smoking vehicle, you're just basically sitting on a stick of dynamite.
You absolutely are, and it does scare me seeing those individuals, and I'm glad the reporters out there, D-Man and Scoom, brought that up. And it makes me nervous, because when things go wrong, you want your support, and Spartan has very little of it. Uh-oh, Spartan is in real danger, spins out, gets out, and now Yak has eyes, but the support is there. But that's actually not from the same team. That's from the Incognito boys. Again, they're saving so many individuals who almost got picked off.
And this is the problem with this map. It's okay having a big, sparse, open area, but it's a ranger's paradise. Snipers, DMRs galore. And with the amount of scopes that are in play, anything, it's not the most recommended thing, but the fact that you can snipe with a gun off the back of it 3 times, the scopes are absolutely fantastic. There's no issues about getting guns and gear because of the rules. That's a level 1 helmet. It should be an easy dink. Finds his time for a moment. And again, there are points during this game where you don't want to take these shots. For instance, he might not have the best position. He does have a teammate with him. There we go. Finally, they've committed to opening up. There's 2 of them side by side. But now they've given away the gear. People know where their position is.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like that. CC is instantly in the bug. He's like, all right, let's adjust. Let's move away. Envy, incredible performance in that last match. Loved watching what they did on the move, working their way forward. Let's see what they go for this time. They do have a little bit of wiggle room still available. Not a great deal. As you said, very condensed already towards that center side. So kind of southwest of Picardo. That sort of area where the crossroads pretty much meet is where most of these teams currently wait. No one is playing Edge. No one's really doing that. Ents, I guess, are a little bit late. Rangers are a little bit late. Rangers are the team to keep your eyes on as well. They could potentially start threatening. They're in the southeast currently, very far on that southern road. CL are keeping that in tabs. And speaking of CL, Crystal Luster here, laying down a bit of fire on the teams, trying to find their prized compounds.
We'll see these long-range engagements, maybe a quick peek poke and a potential pick as well. While this is still going on and waiting for this circle to condense, we'll go back to his initial topic we spoke about earlier on, and you can try and elaborate a little bit on this one for me. There's teams here that will be going into the grand finals. They'll play 3 games back to back to back. There are teams that are going to be going into the grand finals that are cold, where they've had 2 days off. What does that do to both a player and a team mentality?
It's so team-based in my mind. And I know, in other games they've got maybe more of a historied background that's been around for years and years. Teams will still debate it. We prefer going straight to the finals, or actually we prefer playing through those playoff stages because we feel warmed up, we know our opponents, we feel ready to take it on, we don't lose that focus. It completely depends on the team, on the way they approach things. Are they a theoretical team? Do they prefer looking over replays, trying to analyze individual teams, or do they just want to feel that hot hand in game? And I think that's what we're going to find out is if there's any big slip-ups, it could be the teams simply aren't warm coming in. If they rest on their laurels going into those finals and don't sit there and keep themselves feeling warmed up, because there's no practice as good as an official game. It's never going to be anything close. Even if you play those warm-up games at the start of the day, it's never going to feel the same. So again, I think we might see some teams potentially struggling with that coming into this.
I mean, it's okay, and I'm not individually picking out NIP here, but they've had an absolutely blinding week so far. The top of the table, a ridiculous amount of points.
Yep.
But really, when it comes to Grand Finals day, that don't mean anything. All those points go in the bin, we reset the table. We'll take a quick... How far? Where's that? Crystal, Luster. Okay, so Envious just across the road for them. That'll be an easy recovery off the back of that one. Tengu with the...
That's a little further.
M24.
That's actually beyond Envy. So Envy are kind of between this fight. You've got Incognito on the hill behind them. Envy a little further forward. So Crystal Luster certainly not opposed to taking plenty of fights. They seem, quite aggro. They like a bit of a scrap here. Not in the perfect position currently. I think if they're not mistaken, they're around 11th place, out of the current qualification to the finals. So they need to be playing this way. They want to get kills. They want to get placements. And they are certainly not taking that lightly. A lot of fire coming in towards Envy this time. That's from Aerowolf 7. Incognito on the other side. And CL doing the same. We are seeing the Rangers and Ents not far off of each other, but we're waiting for the circle, and these teams read it perfectly. Look at them. I'd say probably maybe two teams really were situated outside of that circle, but perfect play.
So there's two ways of been playing this one, and when we look at the map, you can kind of see a few teams doing it. You can commit to a location and stay there and be happy. A lot of these teams had committed center, and circle does center up, so they're laughing. Or, as we look at the map now, Brazilian Crusaders, see now, you'll have all these teams, even the Bluebees are doing it. You have these 2-2 splits because you're basically covering more bases. You're giving yourself a backup plan or an emergency form of exit. If a team rolls up, you've got somewhere else to go. Or, if the circle goes one way and you've got some players sat over there happy, then you can rotate to them. You play the numbers game, you try and read it, you do what you can, you're edging yourself against the RNG. It's what I would call manageable RNG.
Yeah. You try and minimize it, don't you? You try and play the best odds. CL on the move, and it looks like the Rangers and Ents could potentially finally meet here. They've been kind of shadowing each other for a while. OMG are laying down the fire. You can kind of see in that mini-map in the bottom right there. But all these teams are just trying to find that next prime position. It may not be available. Teams who went on those 2-2 splits might have a better jump in towards it, because maybe half of the team is in a good spot. But already the Rangers opening up. That 16 might get outdone by something full auto here. But actually a little wild play. Going to use that truck to head a little bit closer. Nice work from the Rangers, using that as cover on the way forward. The nades come out, it's Moody to fight inside. That was the Envy Incognito fight, but it's 17 Gaming being crashed upon by some more teams.
Evercon goes down. That's the Incognito fight more towards the northern side. We are on board with Ents for now. Line KK from down below. Have an angle from one of the buildings. They claim a scalp. Rustam, big fragger, unfortunately for Ents, losing him this early will not pay dividends. We lost two throughout the entirety of that quick rotation. But still, to lose two players and we're 11 minutes into the game, this is going to be a complete cluster when we go later through the circles. The one thing that is going to be difficult, and again, we spoke about those 2-2 splits. Yes, they are very, very good in terms of keeping yourself alive and giving yourself a backup plan. But should a team of 4 rock up on you, you've basically...
Welcome to my shop of wares. We have a 4 times on sale, actually half price, for any lucky visitors today. You know you're done for as well. Your team's left you. Like
MMO memes at the time. Have potions. What would you like?
We will see Envy. They did have a little bit of a back and forth. We've seen them in a couple of scraps, but they're in a good spot. I've got to say as well, Cloud9 in a very nice position. This could bode well. They're still sitting in 6th. We harp on about Cloud9 and their positioning just because there is a chance someone could leapfrog them, especially because we know Pachinki has been a real sore spot for teams, but they're still okay. That's the thing. They're still in 6th. They're still qualifying if they sit around this marker, keep racking up points. They certainly can frag out as well. That's the thing. It's not like they can't get kills, so that really bodes well for them. And it looks like, again, they're going 2-2. You can see that little adjustment from Lobes and K-Mine there, ensuring just hedging their bets. The Rangers, though, unrelenting towards Ents, going to try and find some shots, and they're landing a few.
But what you have to do in these engagements, this is why we see teams going for these long-range shots, you have to peacock. You have to show your feathers and warn people away, because, again, if a team of 4 rocks up and you've only got 2 men sat in a building, you are completely outmanned, outgunned. And unless you're a god that can pull the turns that we've seen some of these individual players can, And you're going to have a very difficult time circle, weighted more towards the north, where generally a lot of the teams have already been sat anyway. The remnants of Entus will come out. They'll be okay for now. Spartan's giving them a bit of a kick in and assuring as they do leave there. The difficulty here is down south.
Yeah, Envy I'm worried about. They have no easy rotation routes. Maybe head north. They've obviously heard, you know, the OMG fight going on, CL. Cloud9 might pull themselves back together. Maybe they're going to say like this because K-Mind is racking up some bodies. Already going to find Rusty Zera there. That was the Brazilian team on rotation, trying to get even more central. Losing out on that one player has given the Brazilians the most central compound currently, though, so maybe a worthwhile sacrifice, maybe not. OMG and CL might just be clashing soon if CL keep heading this way.
There is an option for Envy to maybe pull a wide one here, but the problem is, if you go Picado, you have that big cliffside at the back of Picado. Yeah. If they go down south, they essentially have to run the gauntlet of the Finns. They're sat there waiting. Looks like we've got a rotational death on way. Unfortunately, Datmosh sees the vehicle and just completely implodes on itself. Easy body box for him.
Yeah, nice little pickup at this point. I think they're safe as well because Envy are going south. Oh no, they're heading right towards Ents.
Is that 4 man between 2?
I think so, yeah, it is. So they're 2-2 in each. It's not ideal, but you're going to have to work with what you got. Ents are going the other way, and they're going to kind of see each other and wait, what's wrong with that side? Why are you going this way? So they're going to cross each other over in the south. CL and Aerowolf still hold the very southern tip of the new circle. And there you can see, there's the cross happening. Ents going further south, and we're going to see Envy going to realize as to why no one was going this way. A lot of fire coming in from the Aerowolf team. They've got to be careful. Now it's going to be the next team. Uh-oh, Crystal Luster are going to see this attack come through. Those cars are going to be worse for wear. And so one of the players, oh, it's a crash. This could go so badly wrong. Envy going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Crystal Luster instantly turn their attention this way. They've basically gone right where Ents were. They switched position. OMG is now trying to third party in towards the rest of Crystal Luster, but they can put their backs towards it. That's all their vehicles removed. This is bad news for Envy. They are in the circle, but they are not in a good position.
I don't think Interrogator can believe how lucky he was. The fact that the Murado actually flipped over the wall and allowed him to get out and be in essentially a defensive spot. This comes down to how Crystal Luster want to play this, though.
Ooh, in my opinion, isolated.
Well, this is the thing. They could pin them back in against the edge of the circle, but the problem is with the 2-2 split, they have to run a really open ground. And you touched on it very slightly, the fact that OMG is just lingering in the back lines, there we go. As soon as we say it, they come out of one building to try and pin in Envy, and OMG have got them dead to rights. Line KK goes in with the SLR at range. I don't think you can get that res. I think going for it is ballsy for the simple fact you commit utility, you commit smoke, and more importantly, you are just giving Envious a whole magnetism area to aim for.
Yeah, they know they're being third party, so Envy are painting that picture in their heads. They know what's going on. 17 Gaming in the meantime did find one of the Rangers. That's a very bad time for the Rangers, and uh-oh, that circle is rough. I've just seen that ping in. That's going to put some teams in a very tricky spot, and I think Aerowolf 1 have just spotted out the remainders of Ents. Yes, they have. Hexagon's found Squeaky, and you're going to see a couple of the players just on the ridgeline, maybe try and peek around, see if they can spot out some others. Neither of these teams are safe, bear in mind. They are out of the current circle. It's just pinged in, and that's gone very far towards the west.
I like what Envy have done. They said, you know what, let's get ahead of the game here and push into the circle. They kind of got gifted that one a little bit. It is, you do have to say it, Mikas will be forced to run away here. The Finns have not had it easy this game at all. They're down to 2, I believe. Envy could be smart here. They could take the southern edge of that. Yeah, because they've got that little plateau just above Kumasera. They could gatekeep CL hard. I don't think they're doing it. It looks like they're going deeper into the circle while there's less teams here. I respect it.
Really nice choice.
Try and do what you can to get ahead of the curve because there will be people rotating through. This circle, that is some open area.
Yeah, there's some bits of cover here and there. You can see the kind of the way the map dips. You've got the darker spots of it showing that. A couple of these rotations are going to be trickier than the other. Not going to be easy to get into. Incognito are trying to set up a bit of a roadblock, but it could be Cloud9, 17 Gaming, Rangers and Envy clashing quite early on. They're all trying to vie for that same sort of area towards the middle. Whether or not they actually go for this, it looks like maybe just one of the scouts for Rangers, which is DG98, is the one heading a little further forward. Actually, yeah, there's MP5. Fong goes down. That's Entus in the sidelines from somewhere. Yeah, they're crashing this one. MP5 needs to be on absolute point here because Entus are right on the door. They're pushing further forward as well. It looks like we're going to be seeing some responses coming back in though. Spartan turns around. He's further away. Oh, what a turn. Big plays coming out now. MP5, I thought they might have a good position, but they're just down to Leo now.
Well, if there's a man who can, we've seen Leo do some dirty stuff in the past. He's definitely capable of this, but I tell you what, Entus, they're feeling it. And when you've got a team who's on point and feeling it like that, pure aggression will always win out. Confidence in your shot is something to be said for this. If Entus can finish him, that gives them a bit of a free run for now, but I don't know how many vehicles they've got, and if they want to head into the circle, they're going to have to deal with the Brazilian Crusaders, who can just have a full, basically, line of sight on them. This will be
that southeast,
an
Rich.
easy killing field.
Blimey, now that southeast side is just packed with players. Now, that hillside is a bit of a king of the hill as well in the center, but we'll come back to that. Leo tried to make a stand. He did not do, but that is not good enough at this point. Actually, Mika's just got caught as well. This is just exploding that southern side. Everyone's trying to move around here. This is Trifoli, the last man alive for the Finns, on the run, trying to find any room to stay alive. OMG just got in the cars. He does not want this. Maybe he does. Clouds receives a bullet or two. Where's the rest? Silent. Oh, he's only gone and done it. He's taken down Silent on the run. OMG did not expect that. Clouds trying to maneuver away. Maybe not worth going for the revive. No, Zhao Hai is leaving as well, as Trifoli needs to keep running.
That's a real spanner in the works for OMG. Entus, I tell you what, committing to that was a little bit too late. They went after the final player for the building they were going after, but knocking 2 players in the blue basically slowed them down, slowed their approach. They're all damaged up, and the Brazilian Crusaders have just annihilated them.
Trifoli just went down. He did take another knock on the way. I think he knocked Lion KK. That's a good nade. That could trickle down the ridge a little. Trying to aim it for that smoke. It didn't work out. That's from Crystal Luster again in the southern side. Nade up and over. Gonna land quite close, but not close enough. They look like they want to push this as well, which is just insanity. One nade, if it made it towards those cars, could have been big.
Remember, OMG need the points, and they had a 15th place finish in the previous round. This is not looking good. They're broken, but they're not battered, however.
Richard.
Tengu fancies his chances. Picks up Clouds, goes back to the shoulder
he
peak.
wants this so bad. Zhao Hai's trying to soak up the bullets, keep the attention, but Clouds and Lion KK, they're healed up now, Richard. They can fight back.
Are his teammates following down? I don't think they are.
No,
He's holding
far
this
away.
angle on his own. The grenade does the damage, confirms it through. They will push. But their position has been heavily damaged, and all of a sudden, Aerowolf, there is no respite here for OMG. If they're not fighting one from the front, they're fighting 2 from behind. This is so bad. 1 grenade, 1 vehicle.
And the Blues moving in any second now as well. That's the worst part of this. They can maybe get the revive on Lion KK, but they need to move so quickly. Jorski, I think, has the Orm as well in play. That's going to be happening in the meantime. Cloud9's positioning is phenomenal, so is 17 Gaming's. Envy's a little further on the outside, but that'll be fine. Envy from far away. Packnaps there. Packnaps, excuse me, picking up the kill as well. So this is going to be Windstrike on the move. They need to get themselves in a better position because Rangers do currently hold the high ground, but they have a player knocked.
OMG's gone 13th position. Another unfortunate finish. They need to make something happen after this one. Crystal Luster falls straight afterwards. Meanwhile, the Rangers are going head on with Windstrike. Nuki got taken down from the Bluebees in the distance. We saw the pick come through from Jorski with the AWM, so they advanced onto it. It was a good maneuver. But look at this, the split from up high. DG98 holding 1 angle, and a second player just on his right-hand side, who is also, at the same time, getting the res. So if they come over this, then a 2-man stack. 3 players might be waiting with open arms. Envy forced to fight here as teams are lingering on the edge at the moment. It's just 3 points as Aerowolf get collapsed on by 2 different angles.
Yeah, Rangers looking for these points too. They're one of the teams that definitely need it too. They could really do with this. That nade in hand could be quite deadly, but he might get caught at the wrong timing on this. Oh, it hit the tree!
Hit the tree. Oh,
what a
my God.
rebound, and it still worked out. Teme has to hit the deck. He's got 3 HP. The rest of the Rangers heard this go off. Is it time to pounce? Looking for Jorski. He's still alive. We do still see kills in the kill feed. That nade came through from Barbo, though. That found Teme, and now Jorski, last man alive, falls. And that was the Rangers destroying Windstrike.
I also know there is an AWM and some of those body boxes and some level 3 gear. I did see a nice ghillie suit as well, so if they opt to try and go for them, they have to be careful, because MVS has obviously been listening to all this, so they know that they're lurking in the distance, and Moody with an 8 times and a 24. That's a scary sight to see. Bit of room to breathe as well here. We spoke earlier on about Envy going deeper into the circle. They've just been edging slowly but surely, and once again, by doing this and by not playing edge essentially, they've found themselves in the next circle, and also with the most room.
Yeah, Lobes there, forced to engage. I say forced, he caught a glimpse of one quite far away. That's a good, 400-500 meter shot to a degree there. And here comes the fight. It is going to be AHQ trying to work their way forward, trying to brute force their way into the circle, and it's gone very poorly between the Blue Bees, between Aerowolf. Everyone is catching them out, but Aerowolf got a lot of bullets too, and a lot of flak, and this could be a lot of points. Oh, it gets denied, and AHQ go down. They're eliminated, and now Kato on the run. Got to be so careful. So many eyes turn, and that spray is so good from the Incognito player there.
Gives him a tap to the head as well, just make sure he is dead. He ain't getting up from that one. What a crossfire. 3 teams, Blue Bees, C9, Incognito.
That whole side just got wiped out.
Was that 3 teams? I'm trying to add it up. I think it was 3 or 4 teams just decimated in a matter of seconds. Which is the problem, right? All these teams are on an elevated line of sight. They can do this. It gives an opening now for the Blue Bees, but they have to be quick. They can't run into 17 Gaming head on, otherwise they die. They have to make it to the bottom of this hillside. If they somehow do it, then they survive the next circle, but...
I think Cloud9 then can see them, though. It's who do you want to die to?
Oh my god, did he knock him off the back of the vehicle?
I think he might have. I think he might have spraying in there with a mini. It just happened to happen for him. It all lined up. K-Mind. It's now Cloud9's turn. Can they steal the kills? The knocks, the victims laying on the floor, trying to get into the circle so desperately. Nerf leading that shot very, very well. But again, it's 17 Gaming. They're the ones with the angle. They're the ones with the kills. And they're the ones with the points.
The team will get themselves back together, but they're distracted, Lauren. They're
the Rangers.
They are hard focusing on the Blue Bees. The Rangers have made their way up. That is a beautiful check there. To be able to turn around and say, okay, I'm monitoring this side. Shocks, that is a fantastic read. Watch the uphill for the remnants of teams left in the distance. It's always nice to see, even if it's these individual snakes clearing them out and keeping them in check is so vital. Late game, it can be a real responsibility for teams going down. K-Mind now opens up. He's seen the Rangers lingering in the distance. There's one,
shot.
There's 2, split between 2 teams. It all comes down to one individual. And that nade might put them in the ground.
Is this a steal nade? Let's see if it's going to bounce far enough. Lobes did get DG98. They're all running it. They want the points so bad. And it looks like it could work out if they had one just a little bit deeper. Barbo is still standing, and Shocks wants this themselves. You can see he's salivating in the idea of the points. Incognito got aggressive. Shocks works his way forward 3 times up on the Scar. Could do work here. Barbo waits. His teammate not revived, waiting patiently. Shocks looks over the ledge, spots the body but doesn't spot the player. Barbo unleashes bullets and he goes down. It's traded out though. Where did that come from? That's Incognito joining in.
Have you ever seen a team get more mortared on than that? 7 grenades just completely melts the team into the floor. C9, they're sitting happy. They're not quite center of the map, but they have an elevated line of sight and they have a compound. 17 get themselves back together. Blue Bees, well, they're in the hive at the moment, just nesting and hoping nothing comes their way for winter. Incognito, though, they're sniffing at the door. They might be able to make something happen here. Now Nerf, good read from him, looks over the wall, spots out Envy. The position, the game is up. How do you make your way into this one? What utility have you been using? How much have you committed to the previous fights? Utility management is something in PUBG to be said for that we don't speak too much about, but it's so vital in these last circles, especially if you're a man down.
Yeah, something like 4 nades, 4 smokes, ain't bad at all. Envy, let's see what you've got left. They're trying to forge their way forward. Ronan did just find the Blue Bees, so Incognito went aggressive and spread towards the east side, and that's paid well for them. That got them a couple of points and a couple of kills, and they want a couple more. They find Interrogate. This could potentially spur on the rest of them, but that's going to hinder Venerated's push. He was a little further ahead, and now he feels alone. Now he's worried, and I don't blame him.
Well, they put the smoke wall up and they made it through. They're kind of making it work now because you have these tiny little bumps. Incognito are the team they really have to deal with because they're cresting the edge of the circle. They could be blindside here by kick a mook out. I don't think they know where he is. Oh, now he strikes, now they do.
The tags are good. He's got a good position as well. They're kind of flanking up on it. Envy could get pinched between Cloud9 and Incognito, and in the meantime, 17 Gaming know exactly where Cloud9 are. How are they going to go towards that? That's the next thing, is who has to push where. That next circle is going to be huge for these guys.
And before the storm, everyone's just lingering in the middle. Moody and Venerated pushed up. They used the smokes, but again, once that smoke goes down, how much time and space do you have? How many more smokes can you commit to using that gap? Profit keeps 17 at distance, and all of a sudden, Rodon's reposition. Well, Incognito now can see in 17. You've got to come out from that building, boys. Where do you go, though? You are going to walk head on into a waiting C9, but again,
Here
C9 still, all right, they have a good position, but they have to split their resources, Lauren. They have to deal with 2 teams, 1 from either side.
Absolutely. I want to see how 17 Gaming do this, because they're forced to move now. That new circle coming in means that they have to head towards the southern side.
This is really good for them, for C9. Everything's worked out. They've heard the shots from Envy, but they've committed to Incognito. So Incognito draws Envy's attention. 17, they're on the move. C9, what they can do, they have to answer this call.
Yeah, this is sick play though from that Mini in the hands of Druxy there. It does get traded back in on. That's from Cloud9. That's not even Envy. This could spur on now 17 Gaming. They're trying to get into this fight as well. Cloud9 are a little bit split here. They need to be careful. Molotov smokes. 7 smokes still on Shox as well. He can create avenues of approach if required, but this is scary times. Envy want those kills, spraying into that smoke, so desperately hoping for a connection. But where's the push from 17 Gaming? Now is the time, now is the place. Cloud9 still hold that hill.
Profi's holding the off angle, which is amazing. A bit of an opener there. There is a response though. K-Mine does answer before
Look at
he
the angle
falls.
from Profi.
This was the one I was talking about. Taking this off angle on the left-hand side gives him the line of sight and basically just funnels them. This will funnel 17 into the waiting arms of C9. They have to do so much here to get up this hillside.
Yeah, Profi's holding this all back by himself.
Oh,
He's flashed. Profi's flashed up. He can't do anything. He's completely blind right now. If they push this, he's going to get ahead of where they should be. This is big, but nice work from Lobes to stay aware. Good trade from Shox, though, straight back in. There's still a chance. Where's that third party coming from? Is that going to be Incognito? It is. Venerated finds 1. This is back and forth everywhere on the map. Nurse found another confirmed kill. Still 4 teams stand. Envy in a very good position. Profi's gone down. Oh, my God. Finally, 17 Gaming fall. Cloud9 got broken to pieces, but Nerf stood strong.
And there is a possibility that he could res 2 here. What do Envious do, though? Do Envious understand what's going on?
They do.
They're splitting 2-2 here. 1 onto Ognito, 1 set, and moving on to C9. They might completely wipe out the map for a second time in a row.
This is madness from them. This is brave play. Venerated's going for it, and he's doing well. He's taken out 1 team. Cloud9, do you know who's coming your way? You've got 2 players standing. Cloud9 only have 2 alive right now. Envy have 3 nades coming in, but Envy are closer than Cloud9 think. I don't think they know they're at the foot of this hill. Moody waits. Envy are now just tightening that noose. They know they've got a shot at this. Cloud9 do have time to get their players back up, though. Nerf's going running. Richard, he's going for a walkabout. He gets found. Patcaps finds him. This could be now launchpad time for Envy to rush this one forward. The nade confirms the kill. There's no revive available, but Cloud9 still hold the hill.
Patcaps' angle is disgusting. The smokes are there, which forces Moody, and he's going in.
Moody's going
What is this wild man doing?
He's going through the smoke. They're working their way forward. They need to find these remaining players. Lobes, K-Mine still alive. They're holding these tiny lines of sight. Look at that smoke wall, completely obscuring the lines. Profi confirmed down. They know there's 2 left. Venerated spots out. K-Mine is down to just Lobes now in a 1v4 situation. A good player, but Venerated up from above finds him, and it's Envy to do it.
Envy. GG. Back-to-back wins. Just like that. If you ever wanted to solidify yourself in the grand finals, this is the way to do it. What an absolute incredible read.
So
right
good.
from the start, okay, we saw them get bombarded, the vehicle flicked over. There's a bit of a storyline here. They got into the circle only just early game. And then all of a sudden, all they've done is just follow that line. Any teams that have been lingering, they've committed to doing it, they've committed to the cause, they've wiped out enemies along the way. That final circle, though, they sent 2 players to deal with Incognito. They sent 2 players just to not necessarily deal with C9, but to wait for them.
They moved up early.
They let them get themselves back together. They let them res their players, but they didn't just go charging in head first, because when you see teams do that, there will be a response, but what an absolute incredible IGL work.
Yeah, whoever's keeping tabs for that team mentally, whoever made those calls is playing really, really well. That's someone who's completely reading the situation perfectly, and they played that, you know, to a T. I mean, Venerated went off, and we're not talking necessarily like just fragging out. I mean, that 2-2 split, the way they approached, they knew that they were a little closer to Cloud9 than probably Cloud9 had expected or wanted. As they saw those knocks coming in, they could have imagined that Cloud9 were kept busy. I'm curious in that interview afterwards, if you know how aware they were of that final situation they were coming into. I love that. I really love good mental approaches and just painting a really clear picture. But Cloud9, what a swing up for them. Big kills again, which is really good. Great placement as well, but Incognito, this team is clearly winning hearts and minds for me here. This team is really coming out.
I mean, jumping up to third, they're also playing a pretty decent game, picking up kills when they need to and finding the right moments and the right times to strike. I think two standout players we have to speak about there is one, pubg in that final engagement, taking that really far circle edge to be able to completely cut off any really maneuverability from C9. They had two players who got outside on the back and managed to take a long swing, but he denied any further advancement forward. And then on the opposing side, I believe it was Moody to get up close and personal.
That was insane.
And
You see him creeping up on that smoke.
remember, this is his old team. This is the team which removed him from the roster.
It's got to feel good.
And now he's beating them.
Feels good. All right, that's enough from us. What a great game, though. We've had two incredible Miramar games and two incredible performances from Envy. So if anything, it'd be unfair to not hear from them. So let's head down to the stage of Freya and pubg.
Thank you so much, guys. I am back down here in the MVS booth, and you guys are looking unstoppable today. What has changed since the group stage coming into today?
I think we just had a good talk last night, just saying that we need to slow things down and stop just being crazy and just pushing everything, and that's pretty much helping a lot.
So has like the team roles kind of changed, or is it something to do with communications?
No, it's just everyone being on the same page together instead of being overly aggressive. We're just slowing things down and making sure we're clearing our back before we push anything.
So I just want to talk about that final fight. We saw Cloud9 coming in there with a 4-man squad still. What were you guys kind of focusing on there? Because it was very hectic with those final 4 teams.
Yeah, so I think it was Incognito. We had to wait for them to push because we were kind of pinned between the Firehouse and them. So we just laid prone, waited for them to push, and then we knocked them when they moved. And then we noticed that C9 was fighting, and I believe it was 17, and that was our time to just push right up underneath the ridge and just take full control of that circle.
Well, you guys looked absolutely phenomenal there. I know I spoke to Interrogator before about grenades. It seems to be all about that in the game at the moment. Is that a very important part of your strategy?
Yeah, grenades are pretty important. It's usually you want to make sure you have at least like 5 if you can, and just when you have a knock, just pressure them with the nades so they can't get the knock, and if they have the res, and if they are, then you just get more knocks.
Well, you guys are looking incredibly comfortable right now. Are you going to be easing up a little bit, maybe being a bit more relaxed, or have you got a game plan in mind going into the next 4 games?
I think we're just going to keep playing how we're playing and just get some good practice for the finals.
Well, I'm incredibly excited to see you guys. Let's head back to the desk to break that one down.
Back-to-back, great stuff by Envy there at the very end, and such a good kill count as well coming in for them. They've almost guaranteed themselves a spot in the grand final here from the elimination round. Joining me, Toffees, as well as Avenger. Guys, great stuff to see Envy get the back-to-back there at the very end. Avenger, in the end though, 2 American teams could have quite easily gone another way, to be fair.
So I started with a statement now. I wasn't sure that we were going to see a team kind of take over in a piece, 128 points, but starting off with 21 kills and a back-to-back win here, Envy's definitely going to take them over, but it's going to take them some games. But I'm happy to see Envy step it up here. I talked a bit with Moody yesterday, and I'm really happy to see they kind of stay together as a unit, they move as a unit, and when they kind of approach this, especially the 2-2, we talked about it, kind of the 2-2 split, going 2 guys after Incognito and then sending 2 guys to Cloud9 because they saw the kill feed drop a lot like that.
Toffees, your thoughts?
He's just smiling.
You're very happy. You're just like,
North America. Heck yeah. I mean, come on. Like that was great plays. Both of them had huge kill counts. They executed. I couldn't be happier in terms of like, I do see them on a regular basis, so I know these guys in terms of I know their play style very well. And they both executed exactly the way that they needed to in that game.
Yeah.
This is good news because now I think C9 can maybe have a little more fun in Pachinki in the next couple of rounds after that. They've raised their numbers pretty high, and Envy can start to play a little more comfortable. I think they've been a little stressed out lately.
I'm glad you PG-13'd your song as well at the beginning of all of that. Let's check in with the highlights here to get things going. As of course, for OMG at the beginning of this, 13th place once again, so it is looking a little bit dire here as we take a look at our highlights Avenger for our current reigning world champions.
On the other hand, I really like to see how OB Gaming Rangers, they played this game. They played it extremely well, made sure that they could get into a position where they can get some kills, put some pressure onto it, and secure a 6th place. Very much a salvage game, but they play that extremely well. And when you're in a spot like that, you want to make sure that you kind of salvage some portion of that. They managed to do that very well. Also, Incognito, like you say it in Australia, is I'm not sure how that's how you say it.
That was not Australian at all.
Let's put it there. That amount of kills plus that placement is going to really put them up there. They're going to be in a kind of more safe spot, and now they can kind of relax a little bit and put themselves into a much better spot.
How you say it right now in Australian is heroes. These guys have stepped up. They're playing very well, and I'm incredibly happy with their performance.
Very good stuff. And what brings us this? It's RTX. Yes, it's NVIDIA. And of course, plenty of other teams to talk about here as well from that game, of course. Yeah, I want to kind of drill down here on Incognito for just a moment, because again, you know, relative to what we saw from them at the very beginning of the tournament, now to the last couple of days, they've really stepped it up and they've seemed to have really found their groove, getting plenty of kills to boot as well, Avenger.
So last game, let's not talk about that. Let's put it there. That's the warm-up, everything. They had a 13th place, no kills. But this game, 9 kills and a 3rd place.
Yeah.
5 placement points from that. It's a total of 14 points. That's going to really put them up there. I think they're going to be in kind of the mid-pack of the top pack. So they're going to be sitting very calm. I'm curious to see if they can continue this. I like the kind of the amount of control that Juxi really took in that game. He put himself out there. He got 5 kills, and he wasn't even in the end game there. So I'm really happy to see him step up like that.
I was very impressed with Juxi. I'm a little bit worried for the rest of his team with performances like this. Like, they need to win this tournament if they want to keep him in the region, because I think a lot of people are watching and very impressed with his style of play. That said, that was not an easy circle. That circle was right on the triangle of death. There's not a lot of safe spots in that area. It's not a surprise to me that the top 5 teams had more than the lion's share of the kills. They had almost all of them, because once you find territory in there, you're good to go. And this is kind of showing that circle right now as you take a look at the map. We'll run back through them in a second. But it is just a very tough region to work through. I know, Martin, you've played with these guys at this level. How terrified are you of sort of that Picado triangle, or the triangle of death, as we like to sort of call it?
So I stopped my career before Miramar came out because of Miramar. No, I love Miramar, and I really like these kind of areas. But this is one of the hardest areas because of this road here, just south of Picado, and like the one from Montenuevo down to Los Leones, because this really splits up that map. But it kind of shifted away, and people could, and all the teams could decide where to go, and they came into a really good spot here. We had 31 alives in this circle here, and from there you had to decide where you want to be. But in this circle here, where Envy, they were kept out right here, I was really surprised to see them managing to get into the zone like this. Because Cloud9 could have had 2 guys focusing on the southern side, and also, meanwhile, Incognito on the other side of the circle put a lot of pressure to them. So them being able to get in there like they did was very surprising to me.
Here are the points coming in as well. Envy bagging themselves a huge amount of points once again, but Cloud9 really needed these points here, and they were able to seize them thoroughly with the compound that they were able to take for a good portion of that game, Toffees. So fortunate for them.
Yeah, I mean, they picked a good spot, and that's what it came down to on a circle like that. You find good real estate, you lock it up, you invest early so that you can sell high later on, and that's exactly what they did. The key to victory, though, was really all about Envy. Cloud9 had great real estate. They pushed on 17. I think Rich put it best when he said C9 has to answer this call. They heard the call of the bullets as 17 sort of fought to try to come in. C9 responded immediately. The problem was that hurt them. They got 3 knocks during that defense, and then Envy pulled what I have to think is one of my favorite plays. They didn't push. They knew that C9 would expect the push, so they sent 2 guards to watch them, wiped out Incognito, and then pushed C9. Had C9, like C9 expected a push. They didn't go for reses. They played defense. And then when they went and fought Incognito, they started reses, and then the guys from Envy came up over the hill and finished them off. So they really intellectually played that as perfectly as they could.
I think it worked out extremely well as well, considering Incognito was kind of in the Barrens, in a bit of a tough spot to really play out of. Let's take a look at our overall point earnings as well here from our 16 teams that are playing here in elimination. And this is from day number 4. This is the points accrued during today. You can see that Envy, 41 points after 2 games is some crazy point earnings there. Likewise, 17 Gaming as well keeps finding themselves in very beneficial positions to get extra points.
They actually might be able to have the best day out of we've seen of the group stage in the sudden death here with 41 points so far. The number to beat is, I believe,
16. So only one team has gotten to the 16K club
yeah,
so
that's
far,
true.
with
that's
16 kills. So we've had a lot of teams sort of knocking on heaven's door in that context, but no one's broken that sort of magical number. I will say, though, it seems like when NA teams decide to win a game, they often decide to just go ahead and win 2.
I think we might see it broken in the grand final. That would be exciting to say the least.
I hope so. I expected to see 3 or 4 sort of teams join it throughout the week here. I'm actually a little bit shocked that we've only seen 1 so far.
Oh, well, let's take a look at our X Factor of the match here, brought to you by HyperX as well. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be focusing on what we saw in kind of the final moment of the game here, the fight between Envy and Cloud9.
And this is what it is. So they split up, they covered. Moody just held the angle. He said, all right, you guys put the work in with Incognito. When that fight breaks out, they're going to start to push up the hill. They did. They brought everyone around from that Incognito fight. And basically, C9 had to choose. Do we start putting out smokes and play defensive and do reses? And that's what they chose. But that allowed the rest of Team Envy to get into a good 4-point spread and offensively move up the hill. And in a way, the smokes, I think, helped Envy more than they helped C9 in this engagement.
They played this extremely well because of multiple things here. As you said, them being able to kind of wait a bit here and then push into the smokes, taking control, as you said, and waiting. The patience game here is key. I kind of feel like they should have pushed together here, and the two guys, they should have stick together from Cloud9, and they might have been able to take down one guy and maybe be able to refrag a little bit, but they decided to kind of split out and stay apart.
I mean, the problem was that Envy pushed into Incognito, so now you have that fight going on. You assume that's where the last guys are. They're sort of on the north side of that circle, but Envy was smart. They lagged 2 players on the south. So we saw C9 say, all right, we're going to send one to a wide south flank, send one to a middle push, and that'll give us an advantage. Unfortunately, Envy had thought of that, and they had people on the south waiting for the single flank pickoff, and then it was just Lobes in the middle, like he so often is in Pochinki by himself, surrounded by bad guys, and he just couldn't. I mean, what are you going to do? 4v1 on a collapse, it is what it is.
I personally, if I was Envy, I'd be very happy with the hedge maze that they'd laid out for me to just provide me extra cover. I think that it was very beneficial for them in the end. So looking beyond that, of course, looking some of our teams that are trying to kind of vie for those better positions, Blue Bees actually got themselves into 5th place with 6 kills. So they keep managing to kind of actually frag out in certain areas and push themselves up.
They're actually only 6 points behind 8th place right now, which is Rinstrike. So they're looking very close. If they keep this kind of net gain of points throughout these next 4 games, then they're going to be in there. And it might be Winstrike, it might be Ents that are going to jump out of that because they're sitting down there in 8th and 7th part right now.
They've modified their positioning game, Blue Bees. I feel like, especially on Miramar, they're doing where they have a hold position, but they're still leaving people towards the edge for traps, for transitional moments. And that's where they're picking up their kills. So they're saying, okay, you go and lock up where we really want to be, but we know we need points. So the rest of the guys stay at a trap point or a pinch point on the road, get a couple of kills, and then move forward. And I think that that's the evolution they needed to make to compete with these guys.
I like it. From Blue Bees modifying the position to also modifying the position of the players on the Vertigear chairs that they're being provided here at the Face It Global Summit. Comfy chairs for them to be able to provide their best performances yet. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for tuning in here so far around the world, as well as you guys give me all of the analysis. We're going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen, and when we return, we have more Face It Global Summit Elimination Round.